Okay, so now we are drafting for the back. We are drafting for the back. So just like we did our shoulder line, like we did for the front the other time. So we measure our shoulder. For the back, unlike the front, that we have measurement that we take to know how to accommodate our breast circumference. For the back, there is no breast at the back, so the back does not require any much wahala. But of course, it is the back that can spoil your cloth most in any garment. It is the back that you see the zip folding or having hunch, or there is something not right around the area of the shoulder blade and all that. So the back has issues that we can also address by knowing what to do and how to go about them. So now I'll measure my shoulder, and the standard measurement for that allowance in the back is half inch. However, for people who have bigger back, they have broader shoulder and thicker back. We have people who are fat at the shoulder blade area. You can increase it to maybe like 3/4 of an inch, nothing more, nothing else. You understand? But the half inch, according to textbooks that we have read, is still working, and I stand to be corrected. Fashion progress is being discovered every day. So tomorrow we may have solution, or as to the formula as to how that half inch is gotten. So I'm going to add half inch to the shoulder. The shoulder of my client is 8. That's 16 divided by 2. 8 plus the half inch allowance. So that brings me to 8.5. Just like we slanted the shoulder at the front, I'm slanting this shoulder by 1.5 inches. Then of course the width for the front we did 3 inches, but for the back we will do 1.5 inch. That's how we're going to do for the back, 1.5 inch. Then from this point I'll connect to the neckline. I'll connect to the neckline. From the shoulder slope, I'll connect to the neckline. Just like we measure where our dart will start from at the front, we'll do the same for the back as well. 5 inches away from the point of origin. So then we'll do our half inch. Please note, all vertical measurement is from the shoulder line, not the slanted shoulder. Okay, every measurement is from the shoulder line. So now I'm going to start measuring all my vertical. My armhole length is 18 divided by 2, 9. Then the shoulder to waist is 17. Because there's no breast at the back, we don't do shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, shoulder. No, the back is straightforward. So I've gotten then for the hem, which is 26.5. I'll measure the 26.5. So my paper takes the entire hem. Or is it not so? So I just do all my vertical measurements. Please make sure you are using the appropriate ruler to do your vertical measurement, to avoid any form of distortion in your pattern. So now I'm going to measure on the bust line. That's the bust level. That's our armhole divided by 2 gives us our bust level. That's where we're going to measure our round bust from. So now I'm measuring my bust to round bust divided by 2. That's 11 what? 11.5. So I just mark the points. Then I come here, I measure the bust to bust. I just put the dots there. Then I come here, I measure bust to bust as well on the waistline. This is our waistline. waistline, bust to bust 4.5. Then for the back as well, I stand to be corrected as well, but so far I've been using 1 inch for the back, and I will come back to tell you if I see anything that is otherwise mentioned. But so far 1 inch has been working. So 1 inch, I'll do 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch here as well. Then what we'll do is to connect the two the darts, to point the dart to the shoulder, to the bust level. So you can see now that our dart arrowhead is touching our bust level. I've seen some people draft a little higher than that, but we see what this dart is working for, and the dart on the shoulder is working for is the shoulder blade. You know, we have shoulder blade at the back. When you are doing like you are building, maybe you are in gym or something, you know, the back moves. There is this shoulder hand. So in order for your cloth not to tear, that's why we have this dart. And remember, dart is made to face a bulge. There's always something that is doing, is to create pouch for a bulge. So when you see this dart, that dart is working. So the dart can extend higher than this, but must stop like 3 inches up here, away from this place. Do you understand? So that it can give that room to that bulge at the shoulder blade. All right, so the shoulder dart, will bring it down. The length is 3 inches, standard 3 inches. But one thing you must make sure that is doing is that this shoulder dart must be looking at this waist dart that is coming. So they must face themselves, but it's not necessary for them to touch until you want to turn it into a princess. So now you can see that my straight ruler is like this, but this one can now come and join it. So if I do a dotted line like this, which means this dotted line means I can connect it, I can cut it through to turn it to anything else. So like we did for the front, the length of the dart for the skirt part, which makes the blouse length, is 6 for the back. You know, our tummy is higher than our bum bum. So the length of the dart at the back must be longer than the front, so that it can create pouch for the bum. Can create pouch for the bum. So I'm going to do it 6 inches. For petite people, the front will be 4, the back will be 5. So it's just 1 inch difference away from. So just remember that for petite, it is 4 in front, 5 at the back. Then for plus size people, which I fall into that category, it is 5 in front and 4 at the back. So now 5 in front here, sorry.
4 at the back.
No. 5 in front and 6 at the back. So now I want to impute the circular measurement, 11.5. There's no dart going through this place, so I don't have to add any allowance. However, on our waistline, remember our waist, round waist is 38, so divided by 4 is 9.5. So our round waist is 9.5 plus this 1 inch of dart allowance. That brings us to 10.5. Then our hem is 46 divided by 4, which brings us to what? We use 12, Abby? Yes. Okay. All right, so we put the 12. And one thing you will notice is that the back will look more shaped than the front. Don't worry, everything will be okay by the time you are sewing, or you start removing all the darts. So you can see now that this one is shaped, but the front is straight. Yes. You understand? By the time we pick the dart for the front, it will also balance with the back. So now I just want you to draw on this our shoulder slant, on the shoulder line, just draw a random line down. So then from this tip of our shoulder slant, measure down that's 3.75, this 7.5, and this 3.75. And I told you I always add extra 1 inch to it so that it can get to where I want it. Even if you use this 3.75, it will still work, but I like it to be where I want it. So I will now do 3.75 here. That's our cross chest. Then the across chest measurement is what?
For the front is 14, back is 15.
Back is 15, so that is 7.5. So I'll just mark my 7.5 here. Then what's next is just for us to connect. One thing about the armhole for the back is that it's not as deep as the front. The back armhole is shallow. It's not deep, it's very shallow, because the reason why it's shallow is that you don't use your back to collect money, you don't use your back to slap people or to take something or to pick up. But when you want to collect money or you want to greet or shake somebody, you use your front. So you need room movement here at the front side. That's why the front is deeper than the back. So I've seen people using the same thing. It's wrong. And I've seen people, when they have problem lifting up their hands to praise God or to do something, and their blouse is behaving funny, they will say the armhole is too small, drop it. No, the armhole is too big, you need to reduce it. That's the problem that is wrong with that cloth. So now we have come to the end of the drafting of front back pattern. But you see, one thing about the back is that the back should not have the same length as the front at the shoulder to waist. So there's something we need to remove from here. So that one we'll talk about in the next class.